James O'Keefe is our guest. You've seen the video, I hope. If you haven't, you should check it out. He exposes voter fraud in the best way possible. Picture's worth 1,000 words. What's a hidden camera worth? Millions. James O'Keefe, glad to have you back.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be with you.
I know you're on your whirlwind tour and we're short on time. Tell us how you came up with the idea to do this.
Well, I went into New Hampshire, Minnesota, all these states, and found dead people registered to vote. I decided to go to the District of Columbia and catch, the Attorney General himself registered to vote in the District of Columbia, and his ballots given out to other people.
Were you surprised how easy it was?
No, nothing shocks me because in the past I've exposed Acorn employees counseling underage prostitutes how to declare their, hookers as dependents on the tax forms. I've exposed NPR, accepting $5 million from the Muslim Brotherhood. Nothing shocks me to begin with. But because the system is set up the way it is in terms of voting in this country, where anybody can walk in and obtain a ballot for any reason without being asked any questions, the system is set up for these types of viral videos. Anyone can walk in and I could say the name of Barack Obama and they'd probably hand me a ballot at this point.
When you prepare to do this, to go in and do this, I mean,
yes.
What goes into the preparation of that? Because it's as if you've done it 1,000 times. You're so cool. James O'Keefe's our guest. You're so cool. Was that you on the video? I can't tell.
That was not me on the video. We do a lot of preparation. We train our citizens to go in there and be brave citizen journalists, we call them, our videographers, and script it out so that they're prepared, they're ready to go. In this case, this is my friend John, who was 23 years old, and he does not look like a 61-year-old African-American guy. But in any event, he went in there, and they didn't know the difference.
And so when you get a video like that, what's the first step? I mean, I saw it with Breitbart, and I know Andrew was a big supporter of yours. Obviously, you have some relations there. Then what do you begin to do at that point?
After we film the video, we work on I did more than one of these tapes, and we've done more in the district. We've got all these other political celebrities and politicians that we use. We're going to release that soon, showing more evidence of voter misconduct. Poll workers, like, for example, in the next video, we have a poll worker who we stated the name of a famous political person, and they almost handed the ballot out to us. And in fact, they told us that he would sign for us. This is the Super Bunch, would sign the ballot for us. So we're just in the process of releasing all these tapes and getting a reaction from the government.
The thing that was often said about Andrew Breitbart, and it's equally true of you, is the word fearless. But you know that these guys have put a bullseye on you. How much preparation do you spend with attorneys and other folks to make sure that everything you do, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, so that you make your point, but you don't end up in jail?
That's the safest thing to do, to do nothing. And that's, unfortunately, we're at a crossroads in our society where a lot of people say to me, James, aren't you worried about your personal safety and worried? It seems like everyone's living in fear. Fear of their government, fear of their institutions, fear if you expose anything, they're going to attack you. The IRS will come after you. The government will come after you. And frankly, my colleagues, we're not afraid. We're tired of living in fear. And yes, we vet things through attorneys. Yes, we know where the line is. And sometimes, I've made mistakes. But if you look at my mistakes, I've paid for them and then some. In Louisiana, my crime was a misdemeanor. It was entering a federal building and using a pretense while inside the building. I showed my ID when I entered the building, and for that I was given 3 years of probation. So I've suffered sort of the political prosecution, threats of prosecution from state attorney generals in New Hampshire, Minnesota, Vermont, and constantly making sure that my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. But I think that it's up to citizen journalists to do this work because the mainstream media can't and is unwilling to take these risks.
So are you technically on probation now?
I am. I was given 3 years of probation for a Class B misdemeanor, entering a federal building using a false pretense in Louisiana. And the ironic thing, which you'll never hear about in any news coverage, is that I showed my driver's license when I entered that federal building, and the actual crime they got me on was posing as something I'm not when I was inside of the senator's reception waiting area. So if it's a crime to pose as something you're not when you're inside of a politician's office, maybe we should charge all the politicians and lobbyists with that crime and give them 3 years of probation.
I got to tell you, dude, you talk about serious stones. James O'Keefe is our guest. On probation for the crap they stuck you with there, and you're still going out. And you and your buddy,
you gotta go balls to the wall. You have to. You can't give up. You can't relent, because the moment you relent is the moment that they defeat you. And there's no turning back. We're past the event horizon. We've gone after multiple states now, the Attorney General. The moment they start coming after me, that's when I'm going to publicize it. And I'm not breaking any laws, to be clear here. We haven't broken a single law. We haven't done anything wrong except live up to the tradition that was established by 60 Minutes and all the great muckrakers of the 20th century, and that's what we want to do.
James O'Keefe's our guest. You will be in Houston on the 27th and 28th, I think, of this month?
That's correct.
At truethevote.org, you can find out more. A group that tries to make sure, Catherine Engelbrecht's group, tries to make sure that there is integrity in the voting process, and I know that James is one of the speakers. Tell me about the organization. I know you're short on time. Take a minute, if you would. Tell me about the organization you have created and what kind of work y'all are doing.
A 501c3 nonprofit tax-exempt charity organization we have called Project Veritas. And you visit our website, Project Veritas, that's Veritas.com. You can make a donation to fund our work, because we are an independent group of guerrilla journalists who expose waste and fraud in government in order to clean up society. And we're funded by, it sounds like mine because it sounds like a PBS, but we're funded by viewers like you.
No,
except it's not TV, it's YouTube.
So I think so many people sitting at home or driving in their cars say, wow, I wish I could do what he does, but I'm too scared. And the least folks can do is support your work. I mean, I think it's absolutely amazing. And what you've been able to do using video, shutting down Acorn, for instance, they'll be back. So 30 seconds or less, what can we expect? What's in the can that's going to be coming out?
We got more tapes in Washington, D.C. we're going to release shortly, and we're going to be exposing even more famous political people's ballots being compromised. Hopefully they'll have to answer for it, because they continue to attack us. They continue to use obfuscation and instead of addressing what's on tape. So that's what we want. We want a reaction from the Justice Department, from Attorney General Eric Holder, and from the other individuals we show their voting rights being compromised by strangers.
I have an incredible amount of respect and admiration for your work and for your fearlessness, your bravery. You are truly a patriot. ProjectVeritas.com. James O'Keefe, thanks for doing what you do, and keep doing it well.
Thank you very much, Mike.
There you have it. He'll be in Houston at a summit that True the Vote is hosting at the end of this month. You can go to truethevote.com. His website is ProjectVeritas.com. Your calls coming up.
Think for 1 second.
The Michael Berry Show.